Join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very meaningful pledge of allegiance.
Yes.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Gene.
First thing we have is the approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I have none.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Next is the approval of the minutes that are attached to the agenda. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I found the minutes to be well-written. There's no changes. I'll move to approve them as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. I did have a preview, Joan had me look at them before, when she doesn't normally do them. But I did have her add that about John, looking at that handbook. That wasn't in what she started us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, first thing we have is St. Anthony Regional Hospital Pharmacy Program. John's gonna have a chair up here.
Thank you very much. How's everyone doing?
Good morning, John.
All right, well, this is essentially 340B program is a federal program that allows hospitals to purchase pharmaceuticals at a discounted price from the pharmaceutical vendors. It's a federal program. It doesn't cost taxpayers any, local or federally. It essentially just eats into the profits a little bit for the pharmacy companies. And my opinion is that's not too bad of a thing, but
Yeah.
I won't go into detail on that too much. So St. Anthony, with the expansion of Medicaid, has seen a huge increase in our Medicaid volume. We were about 6% before the expansion. Now we're running about 12%. And as a sole community hospital, the threshold for that is 8%. So now we crossed the threshold that allows us to qualify for 340B. Part of that is there has to be an agreement. We have a memo of understanding. I don't know if anyone got a copy of that or not.
I didn't get a chance to pull it.
Well, I have a copy here. Essentially, it doesn't commit the county to anything. All it does is commit St. Anthony to continuing to provide for low-income patients. And we have a pretty robust charity care program that averages about $1.2 million a year. And our commitment would be to continue to do that as we would whether or not this happens or not. And it's the county then just is recognizing the fact that yes, St. Anthony plays a vital role in helping the underserved in the community.
So do you have copies of that? Or?
I have just the one copy. I apologize, I should have brought more. We did have an agreement about 5 years ago or 6 years ago. Ed Smith presented, and
Is this the same agreement then?
same exact, well, pretty much the same agreement. It's just tweaked with new numbers. Essentially what he did then was went through all the process, and we just missed the cutoff to qualify, so we never actually qualified for 340B. So he went through all this.
You didn't use
We didn't end up using it before. Didn't quite meet it. He thought we were going to, and the government had other thoughts. But with the expansion of Medicaid, we're certainly well above that threshold now. So the way the process would work is after we have our agreement, sometime between July 1st and July 15th, I'll go on to the online register St. Anthony. I'll have to put in a contact of someone, government official, that they would reach out to verify that we do have a contact. I'm assuming Courtney would be the one there. And they'll send, it's an email that comes from the Office of Policy Affairs, Office of Pharmacy Affairs. They'll send an email, and you have 5 days to respond to say, yes, we do have an agreement with St. Anthony, and then we'll be able to move forward with our process. This would take effect for us on October 1st, if it's approved this quarter, and essentially allow us to purchase, in some cases, our outpatient drugs at 20% less the price, which in a lot of instances, especially when it comes to chemotherapy, infusion therapy, we're paying more than we're being reimbursed in a lot of cases. So this kind of levels the playing field for us.
John, from what I know about this, and I haven't had a chance to read this code, so I'm totally in favor of it. What's our timeline? I'm just thinking it might be nice to have our county attorney look it over.
Sure, if you want to look it over, when's the next time you do meet?
Monday.
Next Monday?
Yeah.
Is there a timeline that you're under that?
I have to apply by July 15th. So they only give you a 2-week window within the period, otherwise I'd have to wait till October 1st at the next quarter. I won't be able to be here next week, but I can certainly send someone. I do have to be out of town at a hospital association thing, but outside of that.
Maybe only if you would have a question, maybe somebody would have to come if he doesn't have any
If you have
questions,
or
yeah.
anything like
So,
that.
I see in the original one, it had in there where you was supposed to report to us every once in a while on this program. That's not in this?
That's not in this one. I certainly don't mind doing that. It's just that I didn't know, I mean, obviously, we hadn't come forward with it. It never happened, so the thought was if you had questions, we're always available. I could give you an annual presentation. I think the main thing that I could present would be our charity care, what we did for the previous year. It's hard to get too much into the weeds on the pharmaceutical charges and stuff like that, but really for the part of the county, yeah, I certainly don't mind. We can add that to it, or.
Yeah, I'd prefer to wait a week and have our county attorney look at it, or I would also, as a second option, I would approve it subject to county attorney concurrence. But if there was a time,
We could do this in a contingency, approve it maybe.
yeah, I
the
would
day
prefer
you-
just to let it sit for a week and then there's a chance that our county attorney might not be able to look at it this week too. It's a
It's a
different
busy week, yeah.
Short week.
So, and this is the first time you've been able to qualify for this, is that correct?
This will be the first time, yeah.
Okay,
We've crossed
so,
that threshold.
so is this an ongoing program? Is this an annual renewal?
We will have to
or-
recertify every year. We don't have to, this agreement is ongoing until either party wants to get out of it with 60 days' notice. But it's, every year we'd have to recertify with the government. So if we were to dip below the threshold, which is 8%, for basically Medicaid and disproportionate share, then we would have to drop out for a year until it came back.
I don't see that happen for a near term.
Pardon?
I don't see that happening near term with the aging population.
No, no, absolutely not. We're seeing it trending the other way.
My preference would be to take no action on it until, plan on taking action on it next Monday and to afford our county attorney an opportunity to look at it. Otherwise, from what I've heard and seen, and I've not looked it over closely, it's something we'd want to do to help St. Anthony's by all means.
Yeah.
My objective would be to find a way to make it okay to sign if there was a problem.
Can we make copies of those, of this, and then John's gonna be here later, give him a copy?
I would assume we can make copies of this.
Yeah, you can certainly, yeah.
Let me go.
Yeah, he's gonna be here.
He's gonna be in here at 9:30.
Okay, well,
Slim chance of him getting it read and back to us today,
it's only 2 pages.
but possibility, yeah.
Yeah, it's really only 2 pages,
Yeah.
a signature page.
It's pretty much a standard, this is essentially the same contract. We're using a company called Prairie Health Ventures out of Lincoln, Nebraska, helping us kind of navigate this. And they have a number of hospitals in this part of the state as well as over in Nebraska that have the exact same agreement.
Neil, do you see any reason that they have to have someone here next Monday?
No, probably not.
Let's wait, if we got a question, we'll have somebody, then we'll give you a
Have
best
someone
call.
co- If you could reach out before, if the attorney has questions, I
Yeah.
can certainly.
I was gonna say, if he has a question, we can have him contact you or your office, and
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
if we need to have someone here, we'll have Courtney contact, and you can send somebody, but other than that, I wouldn't plan on it.
I'm not anticipating any problem.
Me
Just
either.
a good business, I think.
No, I think it's perfectly fair, and kind of short notice on this. We're learning as we go on.
That's okay.
on how this
Well,
process
next year, we'll know
works.
better.
So you say you will have to come back annually and do that?
I
Or no,
don't necessarily
that-
have to come back, I have to just recertify with the federal
Recertify
government
annually.
every year. This agreement is in perpetuity unless either party wants to pull out of it.
So if you don't get certified, then you'd have to recertify the next year, or
You can
go
do it every
through the-
quarter,
go
every
through this,
quarter.
or
Yeah,
every
so
quarter.
we'd have to go through the
I
process
see.
in October.
Yeah.
They give you just a 15-day, on July 1st it opened up, and July 15th it closes, so they have a pretty strict system on that.
And Courtney, you have all of John's contact information.
Yeah, I don't see no problem with it. Yeah, after that. See any other questions for John?
No?
Nope. I want to take up a lot of your time today because it's valuable time today with the holiday coming up.
All right, well, I thank
All right.
everyone, and if you have
Thanks,
questions,
John.
let me know. Thank you. Have a great 4th.
Yep, you too.
Okay, plats. We have one.
I'm assuming you guys got multiple of these, so we got
Yeah.
Yeah.
a little glitch in the program. I think you got it fixed now.
Just the Osmond plat.
Correct.
Yep.
Carl had sent an email and he said that if they wanted it to be sold for non-agriculture, they'd have to get it off of the, that's agriculture preservation designation first. Have they done that?
I don't know that I'm aware of.
Are they planning on selling it, did you say right now?
I don't know, but he just said that if.
Yeah, I seen that too.
If they ever wanted to sell it off, they'd have to have it taken off of the ag preservation area before it was sold. And I thought, well, I hope they know that. I don't know if Carl is just informing us of that, or if they're going ahead with the sale without knowing him. And even if they get the cart ahead of the horse, I don't think it's an issue, but it should be done.
And this is requested by Frank Tomato, so I would assume that he is aware of that.
I have no problem at all
That
in
ag
approving.
reservation, that'd have to be released by the city, wouldn't it?
No,
Is that one that we set up?
I don't know, but this isn't in city limits.
Is it within the 2-mile radius?
No, this would be outside.
It should be outside, otherwise
He's
we wouldn't be
saying,
looking at
It's only
it.
about a mile west
That's,
of
He
Littledale.
said-
that's their joint
I'll quote what-
jurisdiction
2 mile
anyway.
west of Littledale.
Littledale, yeah.
I'll quote what Carl wrote. If the property is to be sold off for non-agricultural purposes, the owner will need to request from you that it be removed from that designation, referring to the ag preservation area. So we're the ones that need to do that, according to Carl.
Well, my understanding, I thought, when I read that, and I didn't read that till late last night, but the only ag preservation we have is what's north of Carroll, isn't it? And that's what the city?
That's what, that, I was confused by
Because that's where
that
we had
too.
Yeah.
The issue.
Why don't you call him and ask him about that?
This,
167 is his extension.
I guess I don't know why it'd be, why Littledale would be an ag preservation
167.
area. in that-
all I can say about Littledale, if you look at the map, is it is really a huge property, but it doesn't come over theirs.
No, it's outside the city limits.
Because
But that ag
this acreage is
preservation
right
goes out
there.
past
Mhm.
Fangman to
This
that,
ag preservation
and then goes a
outside
mile, or about a
is that
half
the
mile
city of Carroll?
east of that. So this is not in that ag preservation area.
So it's
Maybe
outside
Carl's.
of Littledale city limits, not in
Yeah.
the Carroll 2-mile limit.
It's not,
Okay.
that ag preservation only goes about a half mile east of, what is it, Noble there? No, not
Just a second, I'm
Noble.
gonna put you on speaker.
Mahogany,
Okay.
or north of Carroll. Because that ag preservation goes out to the.
Okay, can you hear me,
by
Carol?
Nick Fangman, and then it goes about
Carl?
a half mile east.
Carl? What'd I do?
Hung up on him.
I put him on hold, I think. Carl? He must have hit the wrong button here. Let me try this one. Which one is the one? This red one here? I assume.
New phone system.
Yeah,
Is this it?
yeah, go ahead and hang it up.
Okay, Carl, can you hear me now?
Yep,
Oh, okay, I got the right button.
okay.
You know, you got an old person, and you got new equipment, you gotta train them.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way.
Okay, I got the rest of the board here, and this is a ag preservation, you said is how many acres?
I think they had a minimum of 300 acres. It's been several years ago, and there were people that came in and would have the Board of Supervisors designate them as an ag preservation
Yeah, it's a different.
area, 300 acres or more, and then the only thing that could be done there was agriculture. So
Okay.
it kind of became obsolete when we found out that that was back when the hog confinement issue was pretty hot and heavy, and it kind of went by the wayside because it was a protection for the farmer. But since it's fairly obsolete, people just kind of forgot about them. But the thing is that they're still on the books. I think the best thing is that if they want to sell the acreage off for non-ag purposes, that they would probably want to come in to the board and just make a request that be taken out of that ag preservation.
Okay. Carl, you've, in your email, you explained that to us. Are they aware of it?
I don't know. I haven't talked to them.
Okay. All right, we need to inform them of that, or they'll just go ahead and sell it without asking for that, I assume.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, the only reason I didn't do it is not really a zoning issue, but I just want to make you guys aware of it.
Okay.
Okay, so can we approve this plat now, or you think we should wait and find out what their intentions are?
Oh, you could go ahead and approve it. The plat doesn't transfer property,
Okay,
but it might be a good thing to let the property owner know.
all right.
Just one more question, Carl. This is Dean. Is this a specific piece of property that's in the ag preservation area, or are there other ag preservation areas throughout the county besides the one north of
They're
Carroll?
scattered throughout the county.
Okay.
I imagine most people have forgotten about them.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
You know, I wonder sometime we shouldn't have a map up here showing those ag preservations.
What's the key that lets you find that, Carl?
I've got an overlay. I mapped them when they were done, or when they were originally
Okay.
approved.
Okay, well, Carl, if you have any more like that, why don't you just let us know then up here in advance so we know.
Okay, I can make you a map and kind of let you
Well,
see what there are in the
if
county.
you know what, about time we do it, we're not gonna think of it, so as long as you're following up on it, I think it's best that we just leave you take care of it. What do you guys think? I mean, about time we do it, we're not gonna think about looking at that map anyway.
Yeah.
So as long as you're tracking it, that's all that's necessary, I think.
Okay,
Okay?
all righty.
All right,
Thanks,
good
Carl.
enough.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Have a good Fourth.
You too.
Well, I could leave a message with Frank and let
Perfect.
him know, and, because I'm sure he's representing this trust.
Yeah.
And then they can know.
Excellent. Yeah, I would assume, that'd be my preference, to approve this today and tell them that it's in an egg. They may not even know it.
Yeah.
They don't have the overlay Carl does.
Yeah, and if it's
Yeah.
trust, it could be trustees that have, weren't involved in that.
Alan Eunice probably did that years ago, and the people on the show now aren't aware of it. I think
Okay,
that's right.
well, I'll get a hold of him today and just let him know, and then the
Perfect.
ball will be in their court, I guess.
Okay. That I'll move to approve the plat.
With the notification, right?
Yep.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved second to approve the plat. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay, next we have is a resolution for appropriations. And that is at 85%, which is what we have had done the last 2 years.
I'd make a motion to approve it unless there's any questions or comments.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and second to approve the resolution for the appropriations. Roll call?
Miners?
Yes.
Ruggles?
Yes.
Shetler?
Yes.
Bach?
Yes.
Danzer?
Yes.
Motion carries. I'll pass this around for signature. We can now spend money in our new year.
No radio today.
Paper hasn't been here. weeks.
Well, since,
Who has the radio today?
I do.
Dean has
Yeah, I
it.
got
He
it.
got it next week.
Pardon me?
Dean's got it today, Rich has got it next week.
Okay. Next we have is the Class C liquor license for the Angry Beaver at Maple River. And this is for Class C and outdoor sales and Sunday sales.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Been moved and second to approve the Class C liquor license for the Angry Beaver. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried.
Pass this down.
On the front,
Please.
okay, let's go down to Veterans Affairs Commission's appointment. Louis sent me a notice that Richard Demlinger's term expires here at the end of, well, actually expired Friday. And we need to reappoint one, and he would like to have it done by the 10th because it's when his meeting is. He had talked about Steve Hogestrott, and the time before he had talked about Bob Tigas from Carroll here, which is an elderly gentleman that's very heavily involved with the Legion, especially with military honor guard and stuff. And so I did not contact Steve, but I did contact Bob Tigas. He is willing to take it. And so we have two there, I guess, that are willing to take it, because I assume Carl or Louis contacted Steve. And I did contact Richard to make sure that he was willing to give it up, and he said that he would just soon give it up. He's been on a lot of years, and he's like, get some different blood in him, so I just didn't want to be stepping on people's toes that served for many years, and I thanked him for his service. So I guess what I would suggest, we have two names before you. And when I talked to Bob, I told him, this was, I'm just getting some names. I said, I can't guarantee anything, so. But I know Bob was, his name was submitted one other time, so. And I know Bob is very heavily involved with the Legion.
Yeah, and I know Bob, and I know he's involved in.
I guess the only thing I would have any concern about is that Steve does our perk test now with Carrie. And he's a spouse of an employee, so I guess those two things, as long as those are okay, that would be my only thing maybe we should.
I thought about the two. I don't see where it's that strongly connected that would be a
Okay.
concern.
Okay. And that was the only thing that came to my
I-
mind.
Yeah, and that's something you'd have to get an answer from the auditor for an issue.
I don't feel that would be any conflict of interest in any respect, but.
I guess I would make the motion for Bob Tiga, since he was requested to do it another time and was probably not.
Well, yeah, and I think the reason we didn't pick him was because we was trying to get one on the outskirts, and I think that's when Jim Brigman came up. We appointed Jim Brigman, because then we got two from different parts of the county, and then one in county, which is what.
The way it is right
and
now.
that's the way Louis kind of wanted it, so.
Okay.
So you make a motion?
I make a motion for Bob Tigas.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Just thank you, Gene, for following up and touching all the bases with
Well,
the
Yeah.
the
Like I
previous
said,
person.
I think it's better if we can. We don't always have that opportunity, but if we got two people to choose from, I just said to them. And I didn't want to, knowing that Dick has been on the board a long time, I didn't want to step on his toes and just not ask him.
Not that Steve wouldn't be a good candidate, I think he would, but since you made the comment that Bob had requested being on at a time before, I think this,
Well, I don't, he requested, but his
his
name was.
name was on, was submitted.
Yeah, it's good to have two qualified candidates to
Yeah.
pick from.
How long is this appointment good for?
It's a 3-year term.
Yes.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Robert Tigas from Carroll for Veterans Affairs Association. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? Motion carried. Okay. You want to get into the discussion of Fricky Building, or you want to just do mineral management?
4 minutes.
You want to do the mineral managements then?
I'm
Let's
okay
do the
with that.
mineral managements. Okay, we have one from Mike Civil, Section 25 of Washington Township, and they have made changes. They made change to crop rotation for optimum yields, and are also using manure analysis to determine application rates and applying manure. Next, we have Joey Schoen. They have added acres and changed crop rotation, and that is in Section 29 of Jasper. Then we have Schumacher's Son, number 1, Marty Schumacher, Section 16 of Pleasant Valley Township, and they have added acres, they have added, changed their crop rotation or optimum yield, and also are using manure analysis for application rates. Then we have Schumacher and Son, number 2, Marty Schumacher, Section 16 of Pleasant Valley Township. They also have added acres or changed their crop rotations for optimum yields, and also using manure analysis for application of rates. Then we have Schweer's Finisher, Randy Cohorse, Section 5 of Arcadia Township, and they have made no changes. Then we have Randy Cohorse, Site 1, Section 16 of Wheatland Township, and they have made no changes. Then we have Randy Cohorse, Farm Site number 2, Randy Cohorse, Section 32 of Wheatland, and they have made no changes. Then we have Stone Path 3, Twin Hill LLC, Section 23 of Pleasant Valley Township, and they have made no changes.
Every week, we do this, and we have applications, and it just amazes me at the level of responsibility and cooperation of all these producers. I mean, it's very rare we get a notice from the DNR of any problem. So
Any problem.
I think it's quite it speaks well of our very good livestock industry in Carroll County.
So is that, are they made aware that they are, they have this obligation to do this?
They do.
So they are made aware of it.
Application of this. And then the DNR gets a copy of this, and they follow up on that mapping, I think. right?
Correct.
DNR does the mapping, gets a copy, and there's also a fee they have to pay, and the DNR gets the money too.
Yeah, they pay money to get this done. I don't know what the all those cost, but when you get a lot of paper that thick.
Yeah,
We get a lot of people that'll ask, what do I have to pay? And they don't, like you can tell they're maybe the first time they've done it themselves. A lot of them have actually, there's a couple companies out there that do these for, and they'll take care of everything. And sometimes you'll get a farmer in here that you could tell hasn't maybe dropped it off in the past and want to make a payment here, and the DNR gets the money.
The DNR sets that fee, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
I
thing
have
is
no
with
idea what
us,
it is.
that the only fee we can collect is if we have any expense going out doing a master matrix, right?
We build new construction for the publishing costs of the paper.
But I think if we have expense too also, if we wanted to, if we had something.
That may be, but we've never done that, I don't think.
So otherwise, we don't get any money out of it. My point is,
Yeah.
we don't get much money out of it.
You know, it's kind of interesting, because I was at a meeting last week where they're trying to sell poultry manure, and they're up by Spencer area, and they do not have to have manure management plan on a poultry barn.
Oh, really?
But that's kind of interesting.
Really? Yeah. I've seen
Well,
that too.
okay, so I mean, and this is basically just for swine,
Swine,
because
yeah.
cattle there's now
And if you have an over 900 or over 900 head.
900 head.
Yeah, then you have to have a.
But that goes strictly to DNR. We don't have nothing to do with.
We don't do anything with cattle.
Yeah.
But poultry, turkey, and chickens, there's
Well,
nothing.
they have manure constraints, that they have to put it underneath the
Yeah.
roofs. So how does that all ever get?
It's all dry manure.
And I know, but who tells them what they have to do and who monitors them? The DNR.
You know, it kind of takes care of itself, turkeys and poultry, because their manure is in high demand.
Yeah,
It really is.
but they're going
That's a lot
farther out,
higher-
farther out.
higher
There's concentration,
concentration.
it's a concentrated area.
But, I mean, if they're not monitoring,
Like Universal Farms.
yeah, I guess, if they're monitoring swine, why aren't they not monitoring that also?
The fourth is the fourth.
Okay, so we'll continue on here. Next we have on the agenda is at 9:30 is a closed session per Iowa Code Section 21.5 C. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I make that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to go into closed session. That is the roll call, Madam?
Miners?
Yes.
Ruggles?
Yes.
Shetler?
Yes.
Bach?
Yes.
Cancer?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.